Hi, this is Chris the Builder, and I had a few requests on how to work the crank on the DevilFish. So I got my DevilFish here. I'm going to show you how that works. This is the body, the skull. This is the jaw with the jaw screw. And then there's two middle parts here that are visible. One is called the gear shroud, and the other one is the crank. The crank is the disc that's closest to the body. And by turning that item, you actually control the jaw up or down, depending which direction you're turning. And I'm going to show you how this goes together as well. So I'm going to disassemble it by turning the gear shroud open. And we'll see that I've got my gear screw right there. And that sits within the skull. And there's a channel here that it sits in. And there's the jaw and the jaw screw. You can see that that also fits nicely into the skull. And that gear screw sits right in there. I'll disassemble this. So I've got just a little machine screw that's sitting in here. I'm going to take that out. And that screw goes through the abdomen gear. So we've got this abdomen gear here. I've got the shroud here, and then the crank. And you can see the crank has the male connectors, and it fits into the abdomen gear's female receptacle, like so. So that's what it would look like without the shroud. And then if you take that apart and you put the abdomen gear in the shroud, and then you take the crank and put the connectors together, it would look like that on the outside, but it's really three pieces. The key to this is you make sure that the hole that you drill through the abdomen gear and the crank allows the screw to turn freely, like so. You can see it's very loose. I've drilled a slightly smaller hole in the body and should use a washer here. I didn't have one available at the time when I put this together, but you should put a washer between the screw and the plastic. Just screw that together, and you don't want it to be too tight. If you turn it too much, it's not going to turn nicely, and it's going to add extra friction to driving the gear screw. Too loose and it doesn't look finished either, so you got to find that happy medium. Something like that. And then what happens is there's a lock on the shroud that locks to the skull. So just make sure there's four little catches, and you just make sure that the shroud is lined up with those catches, and then you just turn it ever so slightly until it comes to that first lock. If it's too tight, you're going to have problems turning the jaw, and if the jaw turns freely, then you know you got it right. Alright, I hope that video turned out. It's hard to shoot yourself. Thank you, everybody.